Hello LEGO fans, Bricks Unbound here with another mock video. So this is the Hall of Justice, hopefully that is fairly obvious, from several different Justice League TV shows and comics and everything. It makes appearances all over the place, so I wanted to make this in LEGO form. It's just a pretty cool looking building, I thought, and my city is missing a town hall, so I think this is gonna serve as the town hall for Unbound City, so you'll see in any future city updates, at least for the time being. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It sits on, it's a 64 by 64 base for it. I just used 4 blue base plates. You can see them poking through the water feature under there. But we'll just take a quick look around to start. So I wanted there to be some green or something a little bit more interesting than just the grays and white color scheme. So the blue in the middle I think really helps, along with the golden statue there. I'm aware that that does not really look like how it does in the source material per se, but I did the best I could with the parts I had, and I'm happy with how it turned out. I think it's a nice looking fountain or structure or something sitting there, whether or not it's accurate to the real thing, if you will. And then we've got just rows of benches around the outside, along with the trees, again, to add a little bit more color to the scene. I posed up several different superheroes, Justice League members and such, just to get an idea of the scale of it. But I am pretty happy with how it turned out. I do have jumper plates placed around here, so you can see that green arrow there is standing on top of one. That way I can pose figures around. I think the smooth tile looks pretty good, but it's not very good for posing figures, because if I shake this right now, okay, so we had one casualty fall over, but everybody else is attached by the jumpers, so they are staying in place pretty well. Of course, the trick would be to move it without dumping the water all over the place. So for this, I just had a bunch of these 1x2 plates, which does make it look a little blocky, unfortunately. If I would have had just a ton of the trans light blue studs, I would have used those instead, but I didn't. I had a bunch of these plates, so that's what dumped in there, and I think it looks pretty good, especially on top of the blue base plates. Closer look at our benches here. Very simple design. I just have clips basically holding them on here. I'll pull one off. So that's all it is. Very easy to do. I wish I would have had some 1x4 tiles in dark tan, but I didn't have any, so these benches look a little bit more, have a few more studs showing than I would like. I like it more like that, where there's just enough to seat a couple figures on there, but the rest of it looks pretty neat and clean. But unfortunately did not have the parts to do it. And then it's a pretty plain looking building right now. I wouldn't mind doing a little bit more texture kind of inside these, I don't know what you call them, these towers, columns, whatever you want to call them. Some kind of curving architecture details in there. I think I've seen that on that. For some reason, when I think of Hall of Justice, I think of this general look, but then it also has a little bit more design work going on in these towers. So someday I might come back and revisit that, but I'm calling this done for now. I also have a little podium up here where Superman is giving a speech, I guess, or talking about the Hall of Justice and how proud they are to be serving and all of that stuff. That design also is pretty simple. You can, just looking at it there, you can see most of the parts. It's just attached with the jumper. So here we go. So I used one of the crate pieces to give a little bit more interest to it. I didn't have one of these cheese slopes in a 1x2 in reddish brown, which is odd. I'm sure I have it somewhere, I just couldn't find it. But I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Little spot for the microphone, and with it being on a jumper plate and the person behind it being on a jumper plate, Superman's mouth actually lines up pretty well with that. So that was just a happy coincidence. Spinning it around to the back, it's just plain and empty in here right now. Again, a minifigure in here just for the general scale of the thing. I'm not entirely sure how many parts it used. I had originally designed the building part of it, and the sidewalks in Lego Digital Designer, but don't have access to that file anymore because it was on a computer that died. But I think the last time I looked at that, I think it said about 1,500 something parts in it, and that would have included the building and then all the sidewalk out front. Because the building itself, being all hollow, didn't actually take a ton of parts to pull it off, which was kind of nice because it made it fairly quick to put together. I did rework it a few times to get the slope of the curvature of that middle section more or less correct. And I'm happy with how it turned out. I'm sure that there's ways to get a better, more even curve going there, but it captures the general shape of it. And I'm happy with overall how the build turned out. Let me know what you think. You'll see this, as I mentioned earlier, in some future city updates, so I hope you enjoy the build, and we'll leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you.